The universe was dark and endless. Stars blinked like cold, distant eyes. Between them, a small escape pod floated silently. It was old, broken, and full of deep scratches. Inside the pod, a little alien child sat alone. Her name was Lyri. Lyri's skin was light blue, and her eyes were big and full of fear. She hugged her knees to her chest. Her small body shook from cold and sadness. The only sound inside the pod was her soft crying. Once, Lyri had a home. She lived on a beautiful planet with green skies and shining rivers. Her people were peaceful and kind. But that home was gone now. A cruel alien army had attacked her planet. They destroyed everything. Fire and smoke covered the land. Lyri's parents put her in the escape pod and told her to run. She had no choice but to leave. Now she floated alone in the middle of space with no one to help her. The pod systems were failing. The oxygen was low. The food was almost finished. Lyri knew she didn't have much time. Her tiny hand pressed the emergency signal button again and again. A weak message went out. "Help me. Please. Help me." She waited. Seconds turned into minutes. Minutes turned into hours. No one answered. A big golden ship passed by. Lyri's pod was so small it looked like a piece of trash. The ship scanned her pod once, then moved on. They didn't care. She was too small, too weak. Not important. Another ship, black and sharp like a knife, passed close. Lyri's signal blinked in the darkness. The ship heard it, but the pilot laughed. "Weaklings deserve to die," he said, and left without stopping. Lyri's hope started to die. Her heart felt heavy. Tears ran down her face. "Why won't anyone help me?" she whispered. "Am I so small that no one cares?" The stars outside stayed cold and silent. Suddenly, the pod shook a little. The energy lights blinked weakly. The emergency system sent one last signal, but it was barely strong enough to cross the space around her. Lyri closed her eyes. She felt sleepy. Maybe it was better to sleep. Maybe it was better to stop feeling scared. But somewhere, far away, a small human ship named the Brave Star picked up the signal. Inside the Brave Star, Captain Ray sat in his chair. He was a tall man with kind eyes and gray hair. His crew was small but brave. They were not rich, and they were not strong, but they had something that many others had forgotten. A heart that still cared. "Captain, we're getting a strange signal," said Mia, the ship's communication officer. She looked confused. "It's very weak, almost nothing. Could be a trap." Captain Ray leaned forward. "Play it." Mia pressed a button. A tiny, broken voice filled the room. "Help me. Please. Help me." The crew became quiet. "It's probably bait," said Lucas, the weapons officer. "Pirates use fake signals to catch fools." Captain Ray stared at the stars on the screen. His face was serious. "Maybe. Or maybe it's someone who really needs us." He stood up. His voice was strong. "We are humans. We don't turn away from those who ask for help." The crew hesitated. They knew it was dangerous, but they trusted their captain. "Setting new course toward the signal," said Mia. The engines roared to life. The Brave Star turned and sped toward the lonely pod. Back inside the escape pod, Lyri's breathing became slower. She was too tired to cry now. She didn't see the little dot of light coming closer, the human ship racing to save her. She whispered one last time, "Please." The stars above stayed cold and endless, but far away, hope was coming. And this time, someone was listening. The engines of the Brave Star hummed softly as the ship moved through the dark sea of stars. Inside, the crew prepared for anything. They didn't know what they would find. A trap, a ghost ship, or maybe a real call for help. Captain Ray stood at the front, his eyes on the main screen. The weak signal led them toward a small area where debris floated, broken pieces of old ships, silent and forgotten. "There," shouted Mia, pointing to the screen. A tiny broken pod drifted between the wreckage. Its surface was scratched and burned. Lights inside blinked weakly. It looked like it could die at any moment. "Scan it," ordered Captain Ray. Lucas ran a quick scan. He shook his head. "Life signs. Very weak. Could be 1, maybe 2, but the readings are strange. It's alien." Some of the crew shifted nervously. Aliens could be dangerous. Some carried strange diseases. Some were killers. "Could still be a trap, Captain," said Lucas. "We have no idea what's inside." Captain Ray nodded slowly. He understood the danger, but he also knew that leaving without checking would be wrong. "We'll go closer, carefully," he said. The ship moved slowly toward the escape pod. Everyone watched the screen in silence. Closer and closer they got, until they could see through a small window on the pod side. Mia gasped. Inside, they saw a small figure curled up on the floor. It wasn't a monster. It wasn't a soldier. It was just a child, small, blue-skinned, and shaking. "My God," whispered Captain Ray. "It's just a kid." The crew looked at each other. No one spoke. Suddenly, the danger seemed smaller, and the need to help felt bigger. "Open the dock doors," Ray said firmly. "Bring the pod in." Lucas hesitated. "Captain, if we open the dock, we are vulnerable. If it's infected or if there's a hidden bomb." "We'll take precautions," Ray said. "But I'm not letting a child die out here." With careful moves, Mia guided the pod into the docking bay. It landed with a soft thud. The bay doors sealed shut behind it. Captain Ray, Lucas, and 2 others suited up in protective gear. They carried scanners and medical kits. Slowly, they approached the pod. The pod's door was jammed. Lucas forced it open with a metal bar. A hissing sound escaped as stale air poured out. Inside, Lyri lay still, her small hands frozen in front of her chest. Her breathing was shallow. Her skin looked even paler now. "She's alive," said Mia, checking the scanner. "But just barely." Captain Ray gently lifted the little alien into his arms. She was as light as a feather. "She's just a child," he said again, his voice heavy with emotion. "We have to save her." They rushed her to the ship's small medical bay. Maya started working quickly, giving oxygen, checking vital signs. Lyri didn't wake up, but her breathing slowly became stronger. The crew gathered around the window, watching. "She looks so scared," said Ben, the youngest crew member. "What kind of monsters leave a kid to die alone in space?" Captain Ray's face was hard. "A cold universe. A universe where mercy is forgotten, but not by us." He turned to his crew. "From now on, she's under our protection, no matter what comes." Everyone nodded. Even Lucas, who had doubted before, felt something warm inside him. They had done the right thing. But outside, among the stars, unseen eyes were watching. Enemies who believed that weakness must die. Enemies who would not forgive humans for this act of mercy. Danger was coming. And it was coming fast. Captain Ray stood beside Lyri's bed in the small medical room. The little alien child slept deeply, her small chest rising and falling with each breath. She looked peaceful now, but her body was weak, and her mind was full of fear. Mia checked the monitors. "Her condition is stable," she said, "but she needs real medical help soon. Our ship's med bay is too small for serious care." Captain Ray nodded. "Set a course for Station Haven. It's the nearest human base." Mia quickly typed on her screen. "Course set. It'll take us 8 hours." The engines roared to life again, and the brave star turned away from the wreckage, speeding into the darkness of space. But they were not alone. Far behind them, in the shadows, 2 alien warships picked up their trail. These ships belonged to the cold-hearted race called the Vrakul. The Vrakul believed only the strong should live. Helping the weak was, to them, a crime. Inside one of the Vrakul ships, Commander Gorth stared at the human ship on his screen. "They rescued the child," he growled. "Fools. Mercy makes them weak. Weakness must be punished. He ordered his ships to follow, silent, hidden, waiting for the right time to strike. Back on the Brave Star, Captain Ray and his crew didn't know about the danger behind them. They focused only on Leary. An hour passed. Suddenly, the ship's alarm buzzed loudly. "Captain, unknown ships approaching fast," shouted Lucas from the control room. Captain Ray rushed to the bridge. On the screen, 2 red dots moved toward them. "They're Vrackle ships," Mia shouted, "and they're gaining on us." The crew's faces turned pale. Everyone knew about the Vrackle. Ruthless, powerful, no mercy. "They're coming for the child," said Captain Ray grimly. "They want to erase weakness from the universe." "What do we do?" Ben asked, fear in his voice. Captain Ray looked at his crew. He saw fear, but he also saw courage. "We fight," he said calmly. "We fight because that's what humans do. We fight for hope. We fight for the ones who cannot fight for themselves." The crew nodded. No one ran. No one hid. They rushed to battle stations. The first Vrackle ship fired a warning shot. A beam of red light flashed past the Brave Star, just missing them. "They're playing with us," Lucas growled. "They think we're weak." "Let's show them they're wrong," Captain Ray said with a smile. Lucas powered up the ship's defense systems. Maya sent out a fake signal to confuse the enemy radar. Ben prepared the small rail cannons. The Vrackle ships closed in. Another red blast shot toward the Brave Star. This time it hit. The ship shook violently. "Shields down to 70%. Mia shouted. "Hold steady," Captain Ray ordered. The Brave Star dodged left, then right, avoiding the next attacks. Lucas fired back, hitting the enemy's side. Sparks flew from the Vrackle ship, but it wasn't enough to stop them. "They're too strong," shouted Ben. Captain Ray gritted his teeth. He looked at Leary's small body on the med screen. He remembered her soft cry for help. "We don't give up," he said. "Never." Just then, something strange happened. Inside the med bay, Leary's eyes fluttered open. She was weak, but her heart was full of something strong, a deep feeling of safety. For the first time in a long time, someone had helped her. Someone had shown kindness. A soft blue light started to glow around her tiny body. The ship's systems beeped wildly. "Captain," Mia shouted. Strange energy readings from the med bay. Captain Ray turned, shocked. "What's happening?" Ben looked at the monitor. "It's coming from the kid." The blue light grew brighter and brighter. It flowed through the ship, touching the engines, the shields, even the weapons. The whole ship seemed to wake up with new life. The next time the Vrackle ships fired, the shields absorbed the blasts like nothing. "Our shields are stronger," Lucas shouted in disbelief. "Way stronger." Captain Ray's eyes widened. He realized what was happening. "She's protecting us," he whispered. Leary, without knowing how, had given the Brave Star new strength. Her species had a hidden power, a gift that only activated when shown kindness and protection. With new power, Captain Ray ordered a counterattack. "Fire all weapons." The small human ship, now supercharged, fired back with incredible force. One Vrackle ship exploded into flames. The second turned and flowed into the darkness. The battle was over. Silence filled the bridge. The crew looked at each other, breathing hard, realizing they had won, not with more guns, not with more strength, but with mercy, with kindness. Captain Ray smiled and said softly, "In this cold universe, sometimes mercy is the strongest weapon of all." Behind him, Leary slept peacefully once more, surrounded by warmth and safety she had never known before. The victory felt good. The crew of the Brave Star couldn't believe they had survived. After the battle with the Vrackle ships, the ship was battered but still flying. The lights in the control room flickered, but everyone was safe. They had saved Leary, and that was all that mattered. Captain Ray stood at the front of the bridge, looking out at the stars. Leary was resting in the medical bay, still weak but alive. The crew was exhausted, but they had done something that no one else would have. They had protected the weak. "Great job, everyone," Captain Ray said with a smile. "We showed them that mercy isn't weakness." Lucas, the weapons officer, wiped sweat from his forehead. "I didn't think we were going to make it. The Vrackle are dangerous. They never forgive." Mia, the communication officer, nodded. "We were lucky, but we can't stay here too long. The Vrackle will come back, and they'll bring more ships next time." Captain Ray turned to her. "You're right. We need to get to Station Haven as fast as possible. But I don't think we're safe yet." He was right. Far behind them, in the darkness of space, another Vrackle ship followed their every move. This ship was larger, stronger, and faster than the one they had fought earlier. Its dark shape hid in the shadows of the nearby asteroids, moving silently through space. Inside the Vrackle ship, Commander Gorth stared at the screen, his eyes full of rage. He had lost the battle, but he had not lost the war. "Those humans," he muttered, "they think they are heroes. They think mercy makes them strong. But mercy is weakness. They will pay for their foolishness." He turned to his officers. "Prepare the fleet. We are not going to let them escape. This time, we will destroy them." On the Brave Star, the crew continued to move toward Station Haven, unaware of the danger following them. The ship was moving faster now, but the journey was still long. Leary's condition was slowly improving, but she remained unconscious. "Captain," Maya said, her voice worried, "we're getting another reading. It's a small ship, but it's fast. I think it's following us." Lucas turned to the screen. "It's the Vrackle ship, isn't it?" Captain Ray didn't say anything at first. He looked at the screen, his mind racing. He had known this was coming. The Vrackle would never stop hunting them. "We can't outrun them," Ray said quietly. "But we don't need to outrun them. We just need to be ready." He turned to his crew. "Prepare for another battle. Get to your stations. We won't be caught off guard this time." The crew quickly moved into action. Mia set up the communication systems to send fake signals, hoping to confuse the enemy. Lucas worked on the weapons, getting them ready for a second fight. Ben made sure the ship's shields were at full power. The ship's lights dimmed, and everything went quiet. The Brave Star was ready. Hours passed, and the tension grew. Every crew member watched the screen, waiting for the enemy to strike. The ship moved through space like a shadow, hoping to stay hidden. Then suddenly, the alarm went off. "Captain," Mia shouted, "the Vrackle ship is closing in fast." The screen showed the large Vrackle ship, dark and menacing, moving toward them. Its weapons were already charging. "We don't have much time," Lucas said, his voice tense. Captain Ray took a deep breath. He knew they had to act quickly. If they waited too long, the Vrackle would destroy them before they even had a chance to fight back. "Full speed ahead," Ray ordered. "We'll try to dodge their fire and make it to the asteroid field. If we can get there, we can hide and use the rocks for cover." The engines roared to life, and the Brave Star shot forward. The Vrackle ship fired, but the shot missed as Captain Ray skillfully steered the ship to the side. "We're not losing this fight," Captain Ray shouted. The crew worked together, staying calm even though they were facing the most dangerous enemies they had ever known. The asteroid field ahead was the only hope they had. If they could get there, they might just survive. But the Vrackle ship wasn't going to make it easy. Another shot incoming, Lucas warned. The red beam from the Vrackle ship came faster this time, hitting the side of the Brave Star. The ship shook violently. "Shields at 30%. Mia shouted. "Hold steady," Captain Ray ordered. "We're almost there." The asteroid field grew closer. Rocks of all sizes floated in space, and the Brave Star moved quickly through them. The Vrackle ship followed, firing again and again, but the rocks made it harder for them to aim. Finally, With one last burst of speed, the brave star shot into the asteroid field, disappearing behind a large rock. The Vrackle ship stopped just outside, unable to see the human ship in the maze of asteroids. For a moment, everything went silent. The crew breathed a sigh of relief. They had escaped. For now. But the danger wasn't over. The Vrackle were relentless, and they would never stop hunting. Captain Ray stood at the front of the ship, looking out into the dark void of space. He knew the battle was far from over. They had made it this far by showing mercy, but mercy alone wouldn't save them forever. They had to keep fighting, not just for themselves, but for Lyri, the last hope for peace in a cold, cruel universe. The asteroid field stretched out before the brave star, a dark maze of floating rocks and debris. Inside the ship, the crew was silent. Everyone knew the danger wasn't over. The Vrackle were out there, waiting, watching. The crew had escaped for now, but they didn't know how long they could stay hidden. Captain Ray stood at the front of the bridge, his eyes focused on the stars. Behind him, the rest of the crew worked quietly, monitoring the ship's systems, keeping watch for any sign of the Vrackle. Lyri was still resting in the medical bay, but her condition was slowly improving. Every hour, she looked stronger. But even with hope growing, the crew knew something else. The Vrackle wouldn't give up. They had already shown how ruthless they were. They'd wanted the child, and they would stop at nothing to find her. "Mia," Captain Ray said quietly, "how much longer until we reach Station Haven?" Mia, the communication officer, looked at her screen. "We're close. About 2 hours. But with the Vrackle on our tail, I don't know if we'll make it." Lucas, the weapons officer, looked over his shoulder. "We can't outrun them. We're too slow, and their ships are faster. Sooner or later, they'll catch us." Captain Ray's mind raced. He needed a plan. He needed something to keep his crew safe. But they couldn't keep running forever. The Vrackle would find them, no matter where they hid. Just then, a soft beep came from the med bay. It was the signal that Lyri had woken up. Ray quickly walked to the medical room, where Lyri was sitting up, her small blue eyes wide with confusion. "Lyri," Captain Ray said gently, sitting beside her. "How do you feel?" Lyri's voice was soft, like a whisper. I'm better. But where am I?" "You're safe now," Ray said, trying to smile. "We're taking you to a place called Station Haven. It's a human base. You'll be safe there." Lyri looked up at him, her eyes full of something Ray couldn't place. She reached out weakly, taking his hand. "You're kind," she said quietly. "You didn't have to save me. I'm nothing." Captain Ray's heart sank. He could see the pain in her eyes, the way she saw herself as nothing. To her, the universe had been a cold place, a place where kindness didn't exist. But he knew that wasn't true. "You're not nothing," he said softly. "You matter. You're important. And we're going to get you to safety. We'll protect you." For a moment, Lyri looked at him, her eyes searching his face. Then, something strange happened. A soft blue glow began to surround her, just like before. Captain Ray stood up, his heart racing. "What's happening?" Mia's voice came over the intercom. "Captain, the ship's systems are reacting again. The power is increasing. The shields are stronger than before." Lyri was glowing brighter now, her energy pouring into the ship, filling it with a power that seemed to come from the very stars. The shields were stronger than ever, the engines pulsed with new life, and the weapons systems hummed with a strange new energy. Ray rushed back to the bridge, his mind spinning. "What's going on?" he asked. Mia quickly checked the readings. "The energy, it's coming from Lyri. She's giving us power. It's like she's connected to the ship." Ray's eyes widened. "She's more powerful than we thought." But just as the energy grew stronger, the Vrackle ships appeared on the edge of the asteroid field, their dark shapes cutting through the stars. "They found us," Lucas said, his voice tense. "We can't hide anymore." Captain Ray's mind raced. The Vrakul were here. The fight was coming. And this time, there was no escape. But something inside him had changed. He wasn't afraid anymore. He had Lyri, and he knew she had something special. The Vrakul didn't understand mercy, but humans did. And that was the key. "We're not running," Ray said firmly. "This time, we fight. We show them what mercy really means." The crew looked at each other, uncertain at first. But then, one by one, they nodded. They believed in their captain. They believed in Lyri. Mia turned to the controls. "Captain, the Vrakul are locking onto us. They're charging weapons. We have to be faster," Captain Ray said, his voice steady. "Full power to the engines. Let's take them head on." The ship's engines roared to life. The shields flickered with bright blue energy from Lyri's power. The weapons locked on, ready to fire. The first Vrakul ship fired a blast. But this time, the brave Star dodged with ease, the shields holding strong against the attack. Ray steered the ship in close, the enemy ship firing again and again, but the shields absorbed the shots like nothing. Then, it was their turn. "Fire," Captain Ray ordered. The crew released a powerful wave of energy from the weapons. The blast hit the Vrakul ship dead center, sending it spiraling out of control. "Another ship incoming," Mia warned. But Captain Ray was ready. With a quick turn, the brave Star fired again, striking the second Vrakul ship with a blast so strong it tore through the enemy's shields and tore the ship apart. The remaining Vrakul ship hesitated, its crew realizing they couldn't win this fight. It turned and fled, disappearing into the darkness. The crew of the brave Star stood silent for a moment, their breaths slow and heavy. They had done it. They had won. Captain Ray looked at Lyri, who was still glowing softly. "You did it," he said quietly. "You helped us. You gave us strength." Lyri smiled, her eyes filled with warmth. "You saved me," she whispered. "Now I can protect you." Captain Ray nodded. "We'll protect each other." The crew looked out at the stars, knowing that even in a cold universe, kindness and mercy had won the day. But they knew the Vrakul wouldn't stop. They would be back. And when they returned, the humans would be ready. Because they had something the Vrakul would never understand: the power of mercy.